Hello, I'm Jamie.
Hello, I'm Mark, and it's time for another episode of Through the Garden Gate. Good evening, Instagram. How is everybody? It's Tuesday night, it's 7:30. It's time for another episode of Through the Garden Gate. I doubt Jamie's here yet because he is definitely at the pub because he's posted a picture of his pint. So he can't deny it tonight.
No, but he'll have to be like, I will be like, you're late.
Let's see if he's about. He's there, look.
Oh, come on.
I'm here.
Hey!
Hello.
Hello.
We just saw the picture of your pint.
I know. I'll tell you what happened. So our friend was at the pub and he said, "Do you want a pint?" And this was at 5 past. And I went, "Oh, go on then." And he went to the bar and there was a massive queue and he didn't bring the pint till 15:15. So I went, "Oh no." Literally the pub's about a minute and a half drive away. So I thought, "Oh God." But yeah, I'll see. Perfect. It was 19:30 when I pressed go live with Mark.
Well done. Perfectly timed.
Where are you two?
We're in Wales.
What? You're in a foreign country.
We're in a foreign country.
Yeah.
First time George has ever been in a foreign country.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
So,
You liking it, George?
yeah.
You like the beach lots, don't you?
Yeah.
Lots
I bet.
of fun.
Yeah.
I bet.
We did 2 sandcastles and a heart, didn't we?
I saw the heart. That looked fantastic.
That was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we went on a little train,
Yeah, we went on a little train through the...
Lovely.
steam train.
We went over the bridge today, didn't we?
We walked over Barmouth Bridge today.
Yeah, I saw that. That looks nice.
We didn't get chased by a troll.
Trip trap. How was your birthday, George?
It was really nice, actually.
Oh, good. Bouncy Castle, good.
Yeah, I've got a watch.
Ooh.
It counts my steps, so I've done 26,572.
What?
My highest is 28,000.
All right, let's have a look. See what mine says. 29,322. Oh,
Is it?
no, sorry, no, it's not. It's 6,900.
I think George is just doing this all day.
Yeah. It senses me doing this. It thinks I'm doing steps when I'm doing this.
I wonder how many miles 26,000 steps would be.
I know.
Must be lots of miles.
Probably, 12, 15.
Oh look, Mummy's done 17,000.
There you go. He's only 9,000 behind you.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
no, but you think, George,
it's
you've got
nearly my
smaller,
bedtime anyway.
you've got smaller steps than Mum, so that makes up for it. You have to do 2 to you, Mum.
I'm doing this. I'm trying to get some steps up. I want to beat my record.
Can't sat still because it's on your arm.
Okay.
I tell you what you have to do. You have to put it onto Dash's collar. Yeah, many steps.
That's just an outhead within the pocket.
That would be good, wouldn't it? See how many he does a day.
Yeah. I bet he does like 45,000.
Well, he does 4 to your 2.
Yeah, he's got 4 legs.
Yeah.
He'd need 2 pedometers, 1 on each side.
Yeah. See how many he does.
Oh, Dash wants to come out.
I wonder.
Look, we're hiding underneath the pine tree.
Oh,
Yeah.
lovely.
And there's the gardens behind this tree.
Move and show them.
Yeah, let's
Look
show
at the
them
rolling
house.
hills.
So that's the view from our cottage.
Oh my
And then
goodness.
this is the house.
Hey Jenny, who's here? I think I saw Kim. Hi Kim. Catherine.
Look, it's
Oh,
over there.
stop it, Mark. Oh my goodness.
And then that's the house that we're staying in. And then there's a
Lovely.
hill overlooking us. And then that's the garden.
You've picked a good one.
Not a bad spot. It took about 4 hours and like 40 minutes to get here.
Long
So,
time.
Yeah,
Oh, it's nice. Very nice.
Nice hydrangea.
yeah, hydrangea look. No.
Oh yeah. Have a few cuttings, Mark.
Don't be playing football before.
I've already been weeding.
Yeah. It's not even your garden, Dad, and of course
You can't leave it alone.
Right.
It is looking beautiful, Kim, isn't it? It's absolutely lovely. You have to tell me where that is, Mark. I mean, I might take Teresa there.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely worth a visit.
Sure, yeah. Really nice.
Thanks, Jamie, for the voucher.
Oh no, so welcome.
Yeah.
So welcome. You have to tell me what you get with it.
Yeah. I haven't done anything yet.
No,
But,
You
I
take your
will.
time.
You'll figure something out.
Yeah, I'll figure something out.
Maybe if Mummy and Daddy need to buy something off Amazon, they can give you the cash so you can spend it anywhere.
I'm sure you could find something on Amazon to find.
Yeah.
There might be a few things, mightn't there?
I don't know.
There's lots on Amazon.
Yeah, like maybe a new football or maybe.
You're hiding behind this.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Not bad.
get out of my way. Get out of my way. Ooh.
Right, you getting in? See you tomorrow.
See you, George. Night, mate.
Bye.
Say night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Bye, Instagram.
Coffee crop.
He's awesome, isn't he?
Hopefully he gets a decent night's sleep tonight.
Has he not had a good one?
We had an awful storm at 4:30 this morning.
Did you?
Sounded like we were in the middle of a hurricane, absolutely throwing it down with rain, windy and horrible. Because we're right in the edge of the sea, so it was obviously coming off the Irish Sea. Blew a gale.
Oh dear. Oh dear. You haven't been doing much work. Well, you just said you've been in gardening, you've been weeding while you're on holiday.
Yeah, only a little bit. We've been sat around on a beach getting sandblasted today. It's been windy again today.
Yeah. It's been a bit windy here. It's calmed down now, to be honest. Quite still now. It's a bit cool. I brought a coat out just in case.
I've got a fleece.
It's going to get a bit chilly.
It's probably 10 degrees colder here than what it is where you are. It's
20. It's 20 here.
It's probably about the most it's been since we've been here is 17.
Is it really?
Yeah. Because of the wind.
Oh.
Feeling phenomenal.
Jenny Wren's had lots of wind and rain. It's been windy today. I ain't had no rain. I was speaking to Kim earlier, and she said it was actually tipping down in, but we didn't touch wood. We didn't have any. Not that we don't need it, because we do need it now. It's ridiculous, isn't it? You know, we were moaning like hell a few weeks ago.
Yeah, never stops raining. Now it has.
Now we're crying out for it again.
Yeah. Oh, I saw Chris's story today, and he went to one of the nurseries near work, and they said they hadn't had any rain for 37 days. Which is craziness, really.
But you said your stream at work, so I saw your story. That's all started to dry up, isn't it?
It's not far off stopping because we're only allowed to extract water to a certain level.
Yeah.
So once it drops below that level, we can't take any more out.
Can't you extract it and store it?
Well, we kind of do in the sense that we've got the lake, so we can use the lake water.
Yeah.
But I don't like doing it because it's then you end up taking it out of the lake.
Yeah.
And the lake going down. But yeah, there has been worse years than this year.
Is that?
Like when we had that 40-degree weather, it was You know, the lake was low, the stream was stopped.
Yeah.
There's, you know, not a lot of watering going on.
No.
Survival of the fittest in terms of the plants.
What you need to do is get one of them massive, big 20,000 litre tanks, have that hidden round the back somewhere, and fill it up when it's nice and full.
It should have been done from the start, really. To be honest, if I'd have been involved from the start, I'd have said do that and stick it right at the top of the garden.
Exactly.
And then you've got a backup plan as well, just in case.
Yeah.
And then you harvesting everything possible. Considering when we get floods there in the winter, you know, you're not saving any of that extra water.
No. And a few water butts doesn't go very far on a what is it, 12 acres you got there?
7 acres of garden.
Yeah.
A few water butts are.
No
I've got a couple up at the greenhouse, but yeah, no point anywhere else.
No, don't do anything.
There's not a lot that gets watered with a watering can.
I don't even water this with a watering can, let alone. No, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So you haven't been doing any gardening for the last few days. You've been sunning it up in Wales.
Not since Friday morning last week.
Nice to get away from it a bit, innit, I suppose.
Just hope all my tomatoes and everything are all right when I get back.
Yeah. Anybody looking after them?
My mum's been in and watered today, so and I think we'll go again on Wednesday. So
I suppose it's not as bad this week as it was a couple of weeks ago when we had, 30s.
No, exactly.
Yeah. Rosie, the chat is gardening. It's always a gardening through the garden gate. I've cleared a few beds this week. Done a bit of harvesting. Put some loads of lettuces bolted again.
Oh no!
Oh God, just get so bored of lettuces bolting. Constant. What do you do? They're shaded. They're shaded by this lot.
Yeah.
I water them at least every other day. Why do they bolt? It's not roasting hot.
No, I tend not to do lettuces, to be honest, because of that. I tend to go for more like salady leaf type things. Not like.
Yeah, but even there's rocket and that's bolted again. Oh God!
You need wild rocket. Since I've got that, I don't grow anything. I don't grow rocket anymore.
Is that the smaller leaves?
It's the same size. It's just perennial, and it doesn't bolt.
Oh, right.
So all you do is you cut it right off in the winter, and then it comes back again. And it does go to flower, but if it goes to flower, you just cut it off at the base, and it will just put leaf on again. But yeah, it's white.
What, right down the whole lot off.
Just chop it off at the base.
Get some in then.
Yeah, I swear by it. So it's the best way to do it, and because lettuce and stuff like that just doesn't work. It's constantly bolted.
Constant.
I just use stuff like beetroot leaf and.
Yeah, Dave, I've got a few different spinach and some chards and beetroots, and even if you get little chard leaves, they're lovely, aren't they? If you get them small enough.
Yeah, it's probably the best way in summer, and then stick to doing like spring lettuces and late summer.
Now I sowed some Mizuna and some other Chinese leaf stuff the other day, so that'll go later on as it through the autumn. And they're fine.
From Simply Seed.
I did, yes.
Some of those, yeah. Good mix of stuff in there.
Very good. Rosie's just said before we get our guest in. Rosie just said, "How can I stop my rose petals dropping?"
Water.
Water. Plenty of water.
Yeah, roses are one of those funny things. If it rains, it damages the flowers, and if you don't get rain, and it's too dry, they fall apart as well. So it's finding that a happy equilibrium with roses.
I'm just quickly. I'm just going to show you what this stupid dog is doing. Look at him.
What's it doing?
It's got another flower pot in his mouth.
Flower pot.
He shreds, because all my flower pots are very accessible on the bottom shelf of a potting table. He gets them and runs around that arena like an idiot. He's stupid. Look, what's he got now? I caught him pulling beans off my runner bean plant yesterday as well. Actually, plucking them, just finding a bean and plucking it out of his front teeth, little bugger.
Have you had any beans yet?
Beans? What? Runner beans and things?
Any sword
Runners,
beans and stuff?
runners, French sword, yeah, loads, absolutely loads.
Oh, wow.
Swords.
Something's eating the flowers off of mine.
Oh no, I've got loads of sword beans, loads of runner beans. Look, yeah, all my beans. That's probably what's doing the best, to be honest. All my beans are doing really, really good.
Well, that's good then.
French beans. I saw today Julia Parker said, "Oh, first runner bean."
Yeah,
I went,
I saw
"Oh my
that.
god!" Oh yeah, what? I've been having runner beans for three or 4 weeks.
No, I haven't had any yet, to be honest.
That's the sword beans that we got. Kelly was on about. Yeah, Bramble.
What do you do with them? Do you use the beans or do you cook the whole thing?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't used them yet. I haven't used any sword beans, but they are big old beans, so they'd probably be good ones to let to go dry
And store them.
and store. But last year I stored. Bloody hell! Look, Shona's
Stored
already
5 weeks.
frozen 5. Last year I dried runner beans. I let them grow big like that,
Yeah.
and then podded them and let them dry and they were lovely in stews and cassoulets and things. Just
Yeah.
because we normally eat runner beans as the
Raw.
pod,
Yeah.
you don't have to.
No.
Yeah.
Nice as broad beans.
It's lovely bean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any advice on Belotti beans? Belotti beans, I always leave them on the vine to dry.
Again, they're another one that you store, isn't it?
Yeah, you leave them to dry on
Yeah.
rather than off. That's what I always do.
Yeah, I've got a couple of plants this year. I've never grown them. I've got the ones that are like red and white striped on the outside.
Lovely. I use them in
They
a
look like
cassoulet.
salami.
Yeah, beans are good. Tomatoes. I had a good chop up of the tomatoes the other day, at the weekend. Hacked loads off in the greenhouse, and then found absolutely thousands of green tomatoes.
I bet mine have
So,
gone rogue whilst I've been away because I did them all just before I left, and they'd have gone wild again, wouldn't they?
so quick, isn't it? It's ridiculous. If you don't keep on top, that's almost weekly. You can start, trim them
I'll
up.
not be able to get in my polytunnel; they'll be taken over. I have to go in there with a scythe. Oh, where did he go? Jamie. Not red. It's cleared off. Let's see if we can get him back in. I'm trying to let you in, Jamie. I've accepted it. It's just not letting you in. Oh, come on, Instagram. Says you're unable to join, Jamie. Let me try adding you back in. I'm inviting you. There we go. That's got to have been your fault. Trying to scroll on the.
I tried to scroll on the comments and I flicked to the right. Oh dear! Come on, let's get our guest in quick before I do it again.
Before you mess it up completely. So tonight's guest is definitely a friend of the podcast. Some would probably call her an oracle. She has a vast knowledge of all things cut flowers. She is a fellow dog lover and also a bookworm. If you don't follow her, where have you been? Let's get her in. It's Jo at Norfolk Door Blue Flowers.
Blue door.
Blue Door. That way around. I knew I'd messed that up. Blue Door. I even wrote it down, Blue Door.
Oh,
And please swing the camera around.
Hey.
there she is.
Well, that's great. So I think that's just. Hang on, talk to me.
Hello.
Yeah, it's just cut my earbuds off. That's fine. How are you guys? Mark, are you loving Wales?
Loving Wales. I can't believe I've not been more often, to be honest.
Sorry, I'm just sitting here. I'm just going to see if I can spin you around so you can see what I'm looking at. Oh, how do I do
You
this?
just saw it. It was your house.
Oh, all I can see is me. I can't see anything else.
That's the
There's
little
I don't know if you can.
2 arrows.
I can't see the arrows. No, they've disappeared. Anyway,
Should be down the bottom.
Yeah. No, it's not there. Don't worry. My Winnie, come. This one was busy eating my chickpeas.
See?
They're buggers.
Straight off the plant.
That's a nightmare, isn't it? That's a nightmare. I stood and watched. I stood and watched Voss, and he was pulling French beans off of the vine, just getting it really gently and just pick and pulling them off.
My mum used to have a lurcher who used to not only pull the runner beans off the plant, he used to, if he could find them young enough, he would actually eat the entire runner bean plant. There's nothing you can do with gardening with dogs. You just have to ride the wave, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, just let them. But when they start pulling parsnips up by the root and carrots and things, you're thinking, oh my God, stop it.
I've seen them eat peas. I've seen them eat entire plants. Yeah. That one you just saw took out. I fresh planted 3 dahlia cuttings. She bolted straight through the back of my cut flower bed and took the top out of 3 of the plants. They're only now starting to recover.
Yeah. Last year, Bramble was plucking cherry tomatoes off the vine. Oh, stop it!
Sorry,
absolutely stop it.
I'm sort of being away. Those two don't normally want to be down this end of the garden. They've just decided that it's playtime and they've got zoomies majorly.
They're like, let us be on the camera.
So, I think the cats were even worse. I've had 2 cats as well. I don't think they just killed everything, terrorised all the neighbouring cats. I mean, my last one was actually capable of fighting off foxes. So he was a nearly 8-kilo tabby cat. He was ferocious.
Yeah, but you don't want one of them. A dog, you get one of them claws in your nose. I know about it. Yeah, cool, definitely.
Yeah, my big lurcher was terrified of the cat. He wouldn't go anywhere near him.
Joe, let's just clear something up, right?
Yes.
You are in Norfolk.
I am in South Norfolk, indeed.
I'm in West Norfolk. But we're both in Norfolk.
You're northwest Norfolk. You're about 40 miles from me, I think.
Yeah, something like that. So I am a Norfolk dumpling.
Well, I'm shaped like a Norfolk dumpling.
No, come on. So let's explain what a Norfolk dumpling is.
Well, if you're talking technically, a Norfolk dumpling is a bread dough dumpling that you stick on top of which you stick on top of your stew.
I'm a Norfolk dumpling. I was born in Norfolk.
Norfolk dumplings are made out of bread dough. They're not made out of suet or anything else. I was brought up eating them. My father would have them with just gravy. He'd eat the meat separately and the dumplings with the gravy. That was it.
Have you been?
Veg was on separate.
Were you born in Norfolk?
I was born and bred in Norfolk.
You are a Norfolk dumpling. I'm sorry to say.
I am indeed. I am indeed a Norfolk dumpling. Positively a flatlander. I love visiting the hills. I love being able to come home because I love what you can see behind me, which is the horizons. I love the fact that I can see.
Exactly. We have no hills in Norfolk.
We have absolutely no hills.
The flattest.
I don't think the Beast and Bump really counts.
No, that's just one. I've walked up that one, but that's just one hill. Yeah, we have no hills in Norfolk at all.
No, and having just come back from Cumbria, I know what hills really.
Oh yeah, I bet, definitely.
Shoni, you definitely need to come and see Norfolk.
Oh my God!
The biggest coastline in the country.
Best coastline.
It's absolutely gorgeous up here. I actually prefer North Norfolk in the winter You go up to the Norfolk coast and you get a grey day and the wind's blowing and it's just, and you get out to the marshes and it is
It's
just
amazing.
the most beautiful place on earth.
It is amazing.
It really is.
Yes.
I don't like it in the summer. There's too many
Sophie,
people.
you can come. Of course you can. Yeah, that's the thing. In the summer, there's no point going because it's just full of everybody
You
from
want to
out of
you want to
Norfolk.
do it in either autumn or right in the middle of winter. In the middle of winter, Norfolk is, especially the coast, is just absolutely gorgeous.
It's fantastic. We are lucky. We've got a good coast. All the way around the bump.
We are indeed Mr. Bump.
Got a lot of coast as well.
Lots.
Yeah, I think it's something like 200 miles. I know when my daughter was little, she used to swim for swimming club, and they did for a charity thing. They actually swam in lengths, the length of the Norfolk coast in one evening.
Yeah. Silly
So
people.
I know it's a fair distance because I can remember sitting there having to count these children going up and down and up and down.
Yeah, I'll let Shona's coming to Norfolk. She's coming to drink in with you. Well, Shona, you'll have to come past mine. You'll have to come past mine when you get to Joe's. So you'll have to pop in and see me too.
There's no peaches left though.
He's not such a gin connoisseur. He tends to drink his too quickly.
Of course I do.
Yeah. Maybe that's because you're sociable, Jamie. That's what I do wrong. I'm fairly antisocial.
No.
And attacked by plants.
Oh, maybe you need to do some more pruning, Mark.
I ain't got my secateurs with me, strangely.
I will. I am
Really?
getting FOMO.
It was sort of blended.
I really should have had them with me, really.
I didn't think you could actually take them off. I thought once you became a head gardener, they sort of attached them to you physically, surgically.
Yeah,
They're on that.
Attached.
They're on that holster on your belt. That's it. Forever.
Yeah, exactly. You're never allowed to remove it. It's a bit like, a lightsaber.
I wasn't allowed. It was literally like, the car was packed to the roof. There was no room for a pair of secateurs.
Sophie, about 3.5 hours. I was in Hereford last year.
And what's that? Straight east, isn't it? Boom, straight across.
East. Yeah, straight east. About 3.5 hours.
What we need to do is get a big meet up at a garden over here somewhere and get everybody to come over.
East Ruston.
East Ruston.
It'd have to be East Ruston. It'd have to be. It is glorious. I mean, Fuller's Mill is pretty and very, but I think East Ruston is.
We'll have to talk about that, Joe, and we'll arrange something.
Yeah.
That's about East Ruston. Let's talk about your garden.
Well, compared to your two, it's tiny. I mean, I live in a bungalow hutch, so. Oh, I know. I squish everything in. Everything has to grow. It's you talk about competition of the fittest. That's this garden all the way round. I mean, as you can see, I have hang on, if I can spin you around, courgette, fighting it out with grasses and dahlias and sunflowers and fennel.
Look at them.
Everything in this garden.
But look at them. They all look fantastic. So they're all fighting and getting stronger.
Well, they don't do too bad. I mean, I'm lucky the fact that the heap that's actually behind me was actually originally a compost heap.
Right.
We started it here like 20, or my dad decided that because when I moved in here 27 years ago and I was 19, there was lots of sheets of tin and an old metal bed frame and bed springs, which had been dumped here by the old lady who'd lived here for however many years before me. And we couldn't get them out. They got a mini digger in, we still couldn't get them out. There was that welded into the ground. So what do you do? I had a young baby at the time, so it was like, right, okay, well, we just start covering it. So we started covering it, and 27 years later, this is what I've got. So now it's that side of it has become a growing area. I've got roses behind me, hollyhocks. I've got self-sown hollyhocks, the gooseberries line this wall, roses up the back, and then pattypan squashes, courgettes. There's a clocker up the back there. And then most of the back garden, this end, is all pots because of the dogs. Because the one thing I do believe that this garden is shared. It's not just me, it's everybody who lives here. So whether they've got 4 legs, 2 legs, we all share it.
Exactly.
So they need their space. Yeah, exactly. I mean, in an ideal world, as a cut flower grower, yes, I would have these beautiful long organised beds which I could net easily, and it would be fabulous. Practically for me, that doesn't work. I don't have the space to do that with because the dogs are allowed theirs. So I suppose I'll see if I can figure out how. There we go. Aha! There we go. Now I've changed the light. I can see.
Oh, can we have a little walk around?
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at.
So, as I said, courgettes, fighting it out with nasturtiums, dahlias, grasses, and your phlox. Now that's been a real success this year. They've really, really done well. I don't know how everybody else's are doing.
Even the perennials have been good this year.
Yeah, the patty pans are now starting to form finally. They've been quite reluctant. This sunflower is a volunteer. It decided to sow itself. So I take no credit for that.
I've had loads of volunteers
this is
sunflowers.
Nova bush tomatoes. They say you're not supposed to stake them, but I think possibly you do need to. Got gooseberries all along here. Just a little. This rose was planted purely to stop anybody being able to get in from the field.
Nice.
Because it's Notre Dame de Calais. It's vicious. It is absolutely vicious. The thorns on this thing are absolutely horrific, but it's pretty and it's flushes. I have multiple flushes from it. So, Jamie, have you been growing a chocker yet? Have you tried a chocker?
No.
They're fabulous little things. They're like when you pick them when they're little, and they're just like eating cucumbers. They're
Do you
really,
send me
really
seeds
nice.
of those, Joe?
I can try and save some seed from it. Yeah, absolutely. I've got some that are I've got some bigger ones here that I can save.
Grown them. The only things that are similar to that are bloody cucamelons, and I haven't grown any of them this year. They just
These taste just like cucumbers. When they're little, they taste like cucumbers. When they get a bit bigger, they get some like woody seeds in the middle, so you don't eat them. But I haven't even watered these. They're on the compost heap. They get no water. They just get left. They get left to their own devices, and they're doing really well. Self-sown fennel.
They're supposed to taste like peppers when they get bigger, aren't they?
I think they're supposed to. I don't know because my bigger ones I tend to pickle.
What? Tastes like what?
The dahlias.
They're supposed to taste a bit like peppers if you let them get bigger.
Yeah, like green peppers. The dahlias are doing quite well. That's Copper Boy.
Beautiful.
Because we have a hedge behind here and it needs regular trimming because it's old-fashioned privet. I grow in pots. I don't have a raised bed here because then we can hoik the pots out and every so often you get a dahlia that just decides it wants a white petal.
Yeah, look at that. I can remember seeing your row of pots in the winter or autumn, and I thought that's absolutely amazing. Look at them.
They're still there. I've had to put a little fence in front because of the little black and white one because she is a little bit... she likes to invade. She's only just over a year old though, so that's fine. These are the chickpeas she was eating. And they're now setting good-sized chickpeas. I've got carrots over here as well, which actually are carroting, which is quite nice. Again, I have to grow in pots because I don't have the bed space. I have got the obligatory B&Q bed. I think everybody in the world has, which I have attempted to grow my melon in, but despite hand pollinating them, they refuse to grow.
My melon.
My lettuce, however, Jamie, I hate to tell you this, isn't bolting at all.
Oh, stop it.
And I've got my third batch of peas in, and they're actually not doing too badly. Me and Steph sowed them at the same time for the week.
I've got peas now. My third sowing of peas are actually giving me some peas.
But Jamie, the difference is I ate my first two sowings. I had well over 5 kilos off the second sowing. This is my third sowing. Status straw flowers, all the stuff you'd expect from status straw flowers, all the stuff you'd expect from cut flower growers. You don't.
Yeah.
This is a nice one, actually, Jamie. Have you ever grown this one? It's called Bargley Blush.
Oh no, that's beauty.
It's got graded colours of pink.
It is. Look how pink it is at the front. Wow.
Starts off very pink. Yeah, starts off very, very pink and slowly fades out.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's quite a pretty colour. Past the mess that needs to go to the tip. 3 water butts, by the way, is not enough just to water a greenhouse because these 3 are empty. Greenhouse. I've got black cherry that I've been eating quite prolifically for the last week. Those are my ananas that I think I sent you both seeds for, but I don't think either of you actually grew them.
I have.
I've
I've got one. I've got one in the greenhouse. I promise.
Yeah, I've got one as well.
Oh, okay. There's more black cherry. The black cherry are having a really good year. Now Sophie will be able to tell me because she sent me the seeds for these, but I don't know what variety they are because I forgot to label them.
They look a bit to me Ozark Sunrise.
Ozark Sunrise. That's good. So if that's Ozark Sunrise, I don't know what this one is.
Oh,
Is that Amethyst Jewel?
Oh, it might be. It's a bit rounder, isn't it?
Yeah,
It is a bit rounder, and this one's very, very black. So
Ooh.
I know this one's yellow pear, and they're nice, but I don't think they're as nice as my honeycombs.
You can't beat a honeycomb.
honeycombs are beautiful.
You can't beat a honeycomb.
Honeycombs are absolutely. Honeycombs are amazing. I didn't grow them this year though because I tried the Ozark Sunrise and I accidentally got 2 black cherry. So hey ho. My chilies are doing quite nicely. No colour on them yet, but they're setting quite
That's
nicely.
one thing it's doing all right in my greenhouse. The chilies are colouring up all right.
And the sweet snack peppers are having a really good year as well. Although the ones in the pots are not as big, but they are colouring.
Yeah. Joe, what was that pink dahlia called?
Yeah.
Sophie's asking.
Bargly blush.
Bargly blush.
Over here we have a work in progress because I've just ripped out all the cornflowers, Amy and Dorcas, and I've just dug up all my Camasias because they're going to go down near the compost heap. And this whole end of the bed is going to get a rejig because I think the red currant is also going to go down into the compost heap where the achoka is now. So that will give me that much more bed.
Have you got
roses?
plans for that already?
I sort of work on let's see where I end up. I don't tend to make plans. No. I do play it very much by ear. My garden's very organic in that respect. The roses, however, have had an amazing year. It has been a really good year for roses, and it's been a really good year for ageratum as well. And snaps, because those are my autumn stone snaps, and they're still going strong. They're my spring stone snaps, and they're just started.
Snapdragons at work slowly getting rust.
Oh.
If they've got rust, if they're getting rust, just pull them. There's no point mucking about with them because you won't save them.
My snapdragon's about 8 inches.
Well, even my spring so ones are bigger than 8 inches. So that's Madam Butterfly Light Bronze, and that's Madam Butterfly Light Salmon.
Lovely.
Pollen is sunflowers, so I've got orange up, which actually literally do what they say. They flower straight up. Very useful for bouquets because you don't have to try and figure out how to get them in. Pro-cut peaches. Yeah. I know, it's actually very handy. I mean, these are pro-cut peach, which I love. They're such a gorgeous colour. But that is really useful. It's really handy because you can actually just stick it up that way.
Put it right in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. You can have it sitting. I am the garden of pots, so this is actually a cutting that I took myself from my own Just Joey, and that I took last year, and that's already flowering this year. And we go back to veg. There's strawberries, Jamie. You didn't send me yours, so luckily, and one of the local nurses gave me some. But cucumbers.
I knew it was coming.
Look how healthy they are. Nurses apparently grow good strawberries. Cucumbers are having a hell of a year. And although all my cucumbers are a bit bendy, but you know.
That's a right knobbly one, that one.
I've got 3 varieties on the grow. I'm growing Ridge, Space Master, which set these are really handy actually. These are really good for the guinea pigs. Space Master and Peking or China something. These came from Heritage Seed Library. They are Peking China.
Oh my God.
Blueberry bush, nowhere near as good as Jones.
You just whipped me about strawberries and shown her she's got 8 kilos of strawberries in the freezer.
I've probably got about 3 kilos of French beans, and I've definitely got about 4 kilos of peas in there. Cabreys, again growing in pots. As I said, the roses are having a hell of a year. They are just
Definitely a good
that bit
year
of the
for
bed's pretty much over. Yeah, it has. I've tried growing diorama, but I need to stake it. But it is flowering.
Ooh. Angel's
I
fishing rod.
do like them.
Yeah.
They're really nice, aren't they? But
And
they're
I
very,
have
very
the
dainty.
yeah, and I have the first of my naked cyclamen, which is always a joy. And my summer drummers are now due to be cut. That's my seed babies for next year. Do you grow any grasses, Jamie? Because I never see any in your garden, and I'm surprised that you don't have something like the miscanthus. Because
I got some bunny tails in there, and Kim, what were the ones that I brought home from Gardeners World in your garden? I can't remember. I got some of them in. Can't remember what they were.
Miscanthus.
it's just the miscanthus and things like that
Probably,
are doing really well.
probably
And I've got a
just.
couple of
I think they were.
Was it the same one that Chris brought home as well? Because Chris brought a miscanthus into work that was in Kim's garden.
Possibly. I don't know. There was three
yeah,
different
I've
ones,
got
I think.
two miscanthus because I've got this one which came from the Plantsman's Preference, and it has got a label, but it's buried underneath it somewhere. And I've got a flamingo, which is the pink one out the back. I've also got a couple of willows in pots. So this is a red stalked one, and then I've got a curly got a curly
Dogs are still going.
one over there, both in pots. But yeah, I've definitely got beans. Beans are doing well, and I have got a squash.
A squash.
I'm not going to try and claim I've got more than a squash. I have got a squash because I don't think that one's going to set. And none of the others, all the fruit keeps dropping off. Even if I've hand pollinated it, it just keeps dropping off. So, but they're still flowering, so hopefully there's time. They might come, but I have got a squash.
Hopefully my squash have gone mental whilst I'm in away, because they'd started growing about
Yeah, well,
a day.
It was a
this one's up and it's
miscanthus.
starting to climb across the arch.
Yeah.
You think it was a miscanthus? And the front garden, well, again, I've just started doing as Monty says. I said on Gardens World the other day, making spaces, clearing the stuff that was over. I've got my second flush of delphiniums about to come through because these, when they finish their first flush, I cut them down to the ground, and they're now coming again. But again, this is a work. This end of the garden's pretty much more self-sown sunflowers, the bird seeds. Pretty much set in now. It's sort of, that's the way it looks. This end of the garden was new, apart from the Annabelle and the rose.
Look at the size of that Annabelle.
New. She has been glorious. Considering I cut her back by 2/3 last winter. Last autumn, she was 6 foot in each direction, and I pushed her right back and cut right down into the roots, took all the roots out by about 3 foot. And it's because we had such a wet winter, it just came back bigger and stronger than I think it had been before. So
I do like a bit of a divide.
Yeah. I've planted in some late winter chrysanths, more toadflax because I love it, and so do the bees, and I just love that colour. We put a pebble pool in for the birds, and it's sort of, a work in progress. This will get evolved as I get cuttings or people give me things, or this will fill out and turn into like the rest of the garden has. I mean, it's been a good year for phlox as well. This is David. I think that's David as well. I can't remember the name of that one.
David.
But another thing I really like, I don't know whether either of you grow, is the seashells. These are supposed to be annual salvias. This is a royal blue in real life. It's not the colour you can see there. It is royal blue, but it is royal blue in real life. But it has survived the winter completely. I can't know if I can get a good angle. No, I can't get the angle right. It is royal blue, genuine. But it's just survived the winter. So
we didn't really get
that's my garden.
Wet.
No, we didn't.
It wasn't cold, was it?
No, it wasn't cold. It was just very wet, and the apples are absolutely loaded. So there's going to be plenty of apples this year. And there's
millions.
There's one of my large friends.
Suits you, Jamie.
So it does. He looks lovely, doesn't he? So that's me and 2 guinea pigs.
Can I see your washing line pole, please?
Well, that one
The one
that had
when
peas up it not that long ago.
exactly when we done our gin live, I had peas up it.
It had peas up to the top and along, and yeah, they were up to the top and along the side. But I use what space I've got. You have
Yeah,
to.
why not?
When
Bloody hell!
when you have a smaller garden, you use what you've got. And
Definitely.
at the end of the day, if the washing line pole happens to be close to where I need to hang peas, then all I do is hang netting off the washing line pole and let the peas go.
Definitely.
If they're happy there, perfect.
Can we talk about your dahlias in the bags, please?
Yes. What, these
So,
ones?
why are they in there?
Why are these
Why
in bags?
are your dahlia flowers
Earwigs.
in bags? It is just for earwigs.
Earwigs. It is earwigs and some caterpillars. I mean, the only problem is, and actually I've got one there with me 2 seconds. Let me just do that. The only problem is when you go on holiday, you should remember to check where the dahlia sits in its bag, because you can see, if I spin around, the dahlia should be sitting at the bottom, towards the bottom of the bag. So the bag's sort of fairly loose.
Right.
Unfortunately, I went on holiday, didn't check what I was doing, and the dahlia bag must have been sitting high, and my dahlia is now
Curved.
good to there.
All right. Okay.
Is instead there is mush. So that one's compost. But yeah, no, it's earwigs and caterpillars, because there is no end of earwigs here, mainly because I'm surrounded by hedges. So they've got plenty of places to live. So I keep them in the bags because it just protects the blooms. Because if you don't, what you end up with is, bear with me. Yeah, very nibbles.
Nibbled petals.
You do, yeah. You end up with something. Oh, hang on. Something like that, where they've taken all the edges off the tops of the petals.
Can you lift it up a little bit?
So you end up with
Oh yeah.
Right.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
Take the very
Right there. Well, there should be a point on that petal,
yeah.
and instead it's
Flat.
just
Wow. Because they eat
flat.
it when it's in a bud.
So they do, yeah. So what I do is while they are in tight bud like this, or not tight bud, while they're in coloured bud like that, I have the bag over them, and then once they have opened sufficiently so that they're going to be cut like this copper boy is, I will then take the bags off, because then I know they're going to be cut that day, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
And the bags then go on to the next set. It's just otherwise, I won't sell as a cut flower grower a flower that I wouldn't be happy to have myself. So, and if I did decide to do the Norfolk and Suffolk Dahlia Society show, which is, I think, next weekend, might be the weekend after. No, I think it's the weekend after. If I did decide to do that, I'd need to make sure that my dahlias were, even in the learner section, which I'd be in, which I did last year, you don't want them eaten. So, but yeah, no, ideally I sell flowers that aren't nibbled.
But Kim's just said something about a tuna trap. I don't know what that means. Tuna trap.
Vaseline does work, but Vaseline does work, but I don't put petrochemicals in the garden because I grow organically.
No, down there.
So there's no bug spray.
Do you use
With Vaseline?
tuna earwig traps?
No, I've never heard of tuna earwig traps.
Maybe you need to
I've
tell us
heard
what
of
it
soy
is.
sauce. I've heard of soy sauce earwig trap. I've tried soy sauce. My problem is the fact that I've got 2 dogs that like soy sauce. It's a bit like I can't use beer traps because the black and white one will drink the beer. So and I won't use Vaseline because I grow organically, so I wouldn't put petrochemicals onto the plants.
Never thought of that. Of course, I've heard so many people lately say about putting Vaseline up the stems.
Yeah, you can. Where the stem is, you just coat the stem with Vaseline. It stops the earwig being able to climb up.
Yeah.
And it really works. It is fantastic. It does work, but because I wouldn't use it, I don't use it.
Wow.
Because of the way I grow. Because I grow chemical free, it's not something that I'm going to start putting on the garden, because the only things I use in my garden are organic.
Even if it's not a chemical, it's still a chemical. It's not a garden chemical, but it is a
It is.
chemical. I think that's what a lot of people
It's not
forget.
only is it a chemical, it's not an organic compound. I mean, it's a petrochemical. Vaseline is petrochemical, so it's not something I would use. If they came up with an organic Vaseline, maybe, if it was
Mayonnaise.
cheap enough and it worked.
Mayonnaise.
I think that might encourage the dogs to eat my dahlias, and I don't think she needs any encouragement to eat anything at the moment. She'll quite happily
Putting a bit of
strip my
sauce
chickpeas,
on there
chili,
for her.
cucumbers. Yeah, she's soy sauce. We've discovered she eats. You know, beer she definitely drinks.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I don't think I'll start that one. But I've not heard of tuna, but I've got a feeling with the dogs they'd eat it.
Even says she uses
I can
olive oil.
understand. The only problem with olive oil is, does it stay? I keep doing this. I shouldn't do.
What is it?
Does it?
Sorry everyone, don't know what happened there. The signal obviously dropped out. I just had to save the live, otherwise we'd lose the whole first half. So let me try and get Joe and Jamie back in.
I thought that was me again.
I don't know what happened there, because I was still live, but you two were completely frozen.
Well, you just did. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Just disappeared. Never
Did
mind. Sorted.
Fair enough.
I disappeared? Did the whole thing disappear?
The whole thing
The
just
whole
stopped.
thing disappeared.
Completely stopped.
Okay, weird. Because it was
Yeah.
still going for me.
No, it stopped and kicked us out.
How bizarre. Where were we?
See, I thought I was going to bore him to death. I got so dull, he ended up kicking me out.
Don't be silly. You've moved position, Joe. There wasn't
have.
a big tree behind you a minute ago.
I think I'm going to find a more comfortable chair if he was going to kick me out of the live, you know.
Definitely didn't kick you out.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
We were talking.
Excuses. He goes to a foreign country and suddenly gets ideas. Look,
All these
So
followers.
we were talking about
independent thinking.
earwig traps, weren't we?
Right.
We were. Yes. Yes, I was
Olive
just saying that I couldn't have tuna because my dogs would eat it.
No. So
I
the other
don't know how
reason.
about yours. Would yours eat it?
Oh, good God, yeah. They eat everything, absolutely everything. Even if I put fish blood and bone anywhere, they lick the fish blood and bone up.
My old lab used to do the same thing. I've never been able to use fish blood and bone, chicken pellets, anything like that because she'd have just been in the bed hoovering it.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
But strangely, they don't eat the alpaca poo.
Mine would. They eat horse
No, they
poo,
don't eat
rabbit
alpaca
poo,
but they will.
cat poo, anything, any poo.
But this one, you can see him, the one who's running behind me. If I put the alpaca fur out, which I tried one year to stop the slugs in the bottom of the pots, he ate the alpaca fur. He likes fleece for some reason.
Can dogs get hairballs?
If he could get hairballs, they'd have been baptised. He was literally stripping. It looked like somebody had murdered a sheep in the back garden. It was just like there was fluff everywhere.
Amy just said, am I undecided if I'm cold or not? I am now cold, yeah, and the temperature has dropped in the last 10 minutes.
I very sensibly, being female, put my jumper on before we started.
Exactly. I would do that because I'm a man. I don't
It's
want to
still
be
got sunshine. It's definitely disappearing here.
The sun sets behind me here and rises.
Sunset.
At the sun.
It's set now. What time
No,
is it? That's 8. Oh, God. That's terrible, isn't it? Ticking down.
So Mount Snowdon's behind us somewhere, and it sets over there.
Is it? Can you see it?
Oh, so are you somewhere near Blau? I don't know if that's how you pronounce it.
We're
now.
Well, we're right next to Barmouth, if you know where
You're
that is.
further north than that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we're literally, Barmouth is literally over there, and then this is the estuary that comes from Barmouth in front of us.
Gorgeous bit of the world.
It's
I've never
really,
been to
really
Wales. Never ever been to Wales.
It's almost
Amy,
this.
pretty. Amy, did you? Oh no, tea. I think I need my glasses.
T-shirt.
Hello
I'm
from
guessing.
Italy.
Hello from Italy.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Let's talk. I just want to talk about your bags again. Sorry.
I'm hoping you're talking about the dahlia bag.
Jamie, you can tell a complex,
What?
you know.
What other bags has Joe got, Mark? What are you talking about? Dahlia bags. So the other reason I thought people use dahlia bags is so they don't get pollinated.
it is another way to do it, a reason for doing it. I've got 2 down there that actually I am keeping the bags on for that reason, because I want to cross pollinate them myself.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping the bags on, which means that the bees don't get at them. But most of what I grow on the dahlia side isn't singles. So it's less of a problem, because obviously they've got a long way to open before those centres blow out and the pollen is exposed. So it's not so much of a problem. If you grow the single dahlias, obviously that's more of an issue, because obviously the bees can get to them straight away.
Yeah.
I've got a couple down there that I have got the I will hand pollinate, which is why I've got the bags on those too. But that's 2 very specific blooms. But no, it's not why I do it most of the time. Most of the time it's purely to stop the earwigs, because they will just... I lost almost, I think I grew peaches last year, and peaches, not peaches and cream, and she is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
But she was absolutely demolished by the earwigs. Every single earwig in the garden just seemed to gravitate straight to her. And I think I probably, out of all the blooms, I think I probably only had 3 that weren't knackered, which is why I got the bags for this year, because I just don't want to lose so much, because it's been such a slow year with dahlias anyway. Yeah. They've been so slow to get going. I mean, all mine are grown from cuttings. I don't grow anything from tubers. So, but they haven't flowered as fast as they normally do. Normally I'd have my first flowers in July. This year I was probably 2 weeks ago I got my first one.
Yeah, mine have been terrible, absolutely terrible.
And even now I've probably got, even now out of the 50 I've got down there, I've probably got 10 that haven't flowered yet at all, at least. So, and they've all got buds on. Every single one's got decent buds on, but it's just they have been very slow. But dahlias are an autumn flower. They're not
exactly. I think a lot of people forget that, don't they? And they're thinking, oh God, it's July and my dahlias haven't even flowered.
No, I mean, as long as I've got my dahlias, when my perennial asters come out, I know I'm pretty much right, because I've got in the front garden, I've got perennial asters and I've got fireworks solidago, which really come into their own sort of middle of next month. And once that gets going, the dahlias should still be going, and dahlias shouldn't stop until the frosts. No. They should still be, you know, I would expect dahlias into October, and if we get one like last year, possibly into November, if you aren't trying to take them in for the tubers like I will do.
Yeah. So even if the temperatures drop right off, they'll still go until we get.
They'll still go. They'll slow down, and the flowers aren't as good, but they will still keep flowering. And if you're not planning on lifting them, there's no reason why you don't let them do that. Just let them keep going. Once they get frosted off, the plant goes black. That'll put the sugars into the tubers, which tells the tuber to go to dormancy. Cut it off then, mulch it, leave it alone. In my case, I've got half of mine, I've got pot tubers of, so I'll be able to just save the pot tubers instead of having to save the big tubers. So that's what I will do with. But
so you've got pot tubers sitting there now?
Yeah. I've got pot tubers stacked behind the greenhouse, which of every cutting I put into the garden, so I've only got 6 plants that I haven't got pot tubers of, because they were given to me by somebody else as cuttings. But all of the others I've got pot tubers of. Everything I grew myself I've got pot tubers of, which means I can save that pot tuber rather than have, which obviously is only a 9 centimetre pot, rather than having to save a full tuber, because it's a lot easier to store.
And then you just do cuttings every year of everything.
That's exactly the way I do it, yeah. I've got mushroom trays. I just fit cardboard paper into the bottom of them, compost in, set the tubers in, stick them on the windowsill, forget about them. I've got the benefit, I've got a bay window, it helps.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got a heated greenhouse, absolutely fantastic. I don't. I've got a greenhouse, it's 6 by 6 and it's cold. And by the time I get to in February, it is rammed to the ceiling with seedlings. So... because every single plant that's in these beds now, well, except for the front garden, everything that's in the beds at the back or the pots at the back will be out, and it will then be all fresh in for next year. So sweet peas, ranunculus, tulips, all those pots will be filled with either tulips or ranunculus again for next year. So dahlias come out, something else goes in.
You pull all you pull up all your tulip bulbs and ranunculus claws and everything.
Yeah, tulips, when I'm harvesting tulips, I literally, they go in the 5 big pots that sit behind my greenhouse. I can get 50 into each pot, and I literally will just pull them straight out the pot. The reason why, A, it's quick to harvest, so it's really easy. B, you get, if you say a tulip from ground to flower is here. Once you then take the bulb part, you've got that length of stem. And as a cut flower grower, that's what you want. You want the stem length. Yes, it isn't very environmentally friendly because you're bringing plants in which are being grown in Holland. They're being brought over by ship. The ones I grow aren't neonicotinoid treated, so at least that's a bonus. It's good for the bees. But yeah, they'll all go in, and those tulip bulbs just get binned. I don't keep any of them. Don't try.
It's not worth
The ranunculus
it.
are different. The ranunculus I keep going, but the tulips, yeah, it's not worth it. Because tulips, once they've been brought to me, are in their premium condition. That's the point at which they're going to give you the best flower. And
so if you did replant them next year, they won't be as good.
No, you every so often you'll get a variety, something like exotic emperor, which I think they now call, I can't remember what they call it. They call it something different now. But exotic emperor, it's a white tulip that will perennialize, and so will a lot of what they call the viridifloras, which are the ones which are streaked with green, so spring green, things like that. They're tulips that have green streaks through them. They will quite often perennialize quite well, but most of the tulips, especially the big doubles, no, they may flower next year, but you're never going to get that same flower back again.
You don't bother letting them die back and do all that. You just hoik them out.
No, straight out of the ground, rip the leaves off, done, into water off to the customer.
Cool. So
you have to be ruthless.
How many flowers do you sell, Joe?
As many as I can grow. The whole idea of being a cut flower grower is you shouldn't have flowers in the field.
Yeah.
If you've got flowers out there, you're not selling as many as you could. But I've got the benefit that I also use an awful lot to dry.
Yeah.
That's something I really love doing, and it's something I'm doing more and more of. I love working with dried flowers. They're a completely different kettle of fish. They're a different species. In fact, I actually possibly prefer dried flowers to cut when it comes to actually working with them.
And where do you dry them?
Hang on. Let's see if I can. Oh, have I got the key? Hang on. Let me see if it's open. We have a his and hers shed. His is a lot bigger than hers.
Of course he has, because he's got loads of tools and things in there.
That's full. I don't know if you can see that in the dark. No, hang on. Let me get torch. Bear with me. I'm just going to put you on the floor. Just look at the lurcher running away from you.
Need to ask Jenny's question when Joe's back as well. If you've got comments.
Oh yeah. And Amy's got one.
Oh yeah. All hanging in the dark.
They are all hanging in the dark. This is well ventilated. It does have very good ventilation, but yeah, they're all hanging in the dark. So,
and that gets you through the winter.
Joe, do you sell to florists?
Cut flowers, yes.
Florist.
Dried flowers, no. Yeah. Cut flowers, yes. Dried flowers, no. I won't. I actually, cut flower wise, I prefer selling to florists. They know what they want. They know when they're going to want it. They know what stage they want it at, and they'll tell you. Ordinary people, they're lovely, and I have some very lovely clients who are fantastic, but they quite often don't know what they want, which isn't easy. When you say to somebody what you're looking for, and they're like, oh, well, I don't know, just send me something pretty. And then you send them something pretty. Oh, did you not have that in a different colour? Yes, but you didn't tell me what you wanted. So I love working with florists. They, they always want good stem length. You know that they are always going to want the flowers you ask them, do you want them for wedding work or do you want it for bouquet work? And they will tell you what they want. And they are so easy to deal with.
There's a couple of questions.
Yay, that is out. Amy, I'm glad you have bats.
So, Joe, Jenny Wren she's a little bit up a bit. So my daughter wants a cutting patch at the allotment. What are the top 10 perennial flowers and for flowers and foliage? Oh wow.
Perennial. If it was, it's all down to taste. I like strong colours. I think if you're looking at perennials, sedum you will never go wrong with. You can cut it green when it's young. You can cut it as it gets red. As it gets red into the autumn, it goes right the way from really early season, right the way through until October, November. I think Rebecca Goldstrom is a good one because it's quite reliable, but it does have a short flowering window unless you cut it back. Phlox, though, will always grow. Perennial phlox. It's fantastic. If you could get roses in, absolutely go for it because you will never go wrong with roses. They will always bring you through. Perennial. See, this is the problem when you're trying to look at your garden, but half your stuff's sort of gone over.
So there you go.
Depends on what you're at. Perennial, because dahlias and chrysanthemums are perennial.
Yeah.
So they can be perennial, so they'd probably be one that you could use. Foliage wise, you can use pretty much anything, to be honest with you. I love all the herbs. I've just literally cut all my lemon balm right back out because that has now gone to the stage where it's going to set flower, and if it sets flower, it sets seed, and it's enough of a thug on its own. So I've just cut all that out. I use a lot of lemon balm. I use a lot of astrantia. I use a lot of basil. I use a lot of rosemary. I use a reasonable amount of rosemary. All of the grasses are good. So miscanthus, dysampia. What's the one that begins with C and that I can never remember the name of?
Grass. This.
Calamagrostis.
Sorry,
That's
just
the one.
1 second. Look at this. Look.
What is that?
Yes,
That's
that one's
a
a beetroot.
That was a beetroot which Moss has just brought to me. Here, go away.
You just love it. I wouldn't eat that one if I were you. But Jamie, I will say, I have seen you sit there and hand your dogs fruit and veg.
I know.
So if you are sitting there handing them fruit and veg, you can't blame them when they pull their own up.
No, but they're so cute.
So you're making it's your own fault. If you give it to them, they're going to think they're allowed to have it. They're not going to differentiate between this is something I'm allowed to have and this is something I'm not allowed to have.
That's why I just give it back to him. I laugh and giggle about it. I know I'm moan, but it's nice, really. But I can't wait until Teresa takes them for a walk in the morning and she sees their poo all red.
Right.
Blood.
Red.
Hopefully she sees the dog might have red on his face. This is the benefit of me having black and white dogs and blonde dogs. You can see when they've been doing something gross. Mine have a habit. I have hedgehogs here, 3 of them. But I have to keep them in the front garden because if they come into this part of the garden, Ollie, who's my big boy, will tend to pick them up and run around with them.
Oh.
He doesn't hurt them. He's very soft-mouthed, but he does pick them up and run around with them. And then he gets prickles in his mouth and then he foams at the mouth and it's quite gross. But the hedgehog sits there completely unharmed. So I then just pick the hedgehogs up and put them back in the front garden. But yeah, that's why they aren't necessarily always the brightest creatures, dogs.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not.
Amy's mentioned a couple of times now about a Suffolk punch dahlia, Joe. Do you know about Suffolk punch dahlia?
Not heard of that one. I mean, obviously David Howard was bred in this part of the world, which is obviously one of the most famous dahlias because that was bred for Howard's Nurseries, which is probably about 13 miles from me on the Norfolk-Suffolk border. They're at Wortham. They're at Wortham, and the David Howard dahlia, which is an orange dahlia with dark foliage, was bred specifically for him and named after him.
And your Suffolk
So
punch,
I know that one, but no, Suffolk punch dahlia I've not heard of. Kim, do you know it? Is he still there? Is it
I think
one you've heard of?
I've just seen a bat fly past, Amy.
I can hear an owl.
I have bats in the oak tree, which is over there, but then that's like 500 years old, but it's probably got cavities in it. But we used to have bats in the roof because they were in the ridge tiles, but they sealed up the ridge tiles, so I don't have them in the house anymore.
I love it when you see them swooping. It's amazing.
Yeah, we've got pipistrelles around here, but I think they come out of the oak tree. I do have the world's supply of birds, especially sparrows. The sparrow mafia keep me busy.
Send some our way.
That's the thing, is
birds.
Jamie, do you have to watch with the bats with the hedge? Because obviously, especially with the midges about at the moment, do they not sort of
What?
Goop.
What?
I was thinking, yeah.
What?
I think you're in an episode or something.
So I ask you to come on our live and you give me abuse.
Did you expect me to come on your live and do anything different?
Look, at least they won't. At least they won't get tangled up in my hair. Not like your twos.
Exactly. So the more likely to avoid us.
I was going to say, I was going to be really nice and say, it's your knowledge of plants and gardens and flowers is amazing. Where did it all come from? But I might not know.
I have the most amazing mother. That's where my knowledge comes from. She genuinely is an absolute inspiration. She has a third of an acre garden, which when we moved in, I was 9 when we moved into that house, and it was 40-foot conifers and grass. That was it. And now, even at 77, the hedges obviously we manage for her, or members of the family do, but she is just an absolute inspiration. She does it completely on her own. She doesn't ask anybody to come around and cut her grass. She doesn't want anybody weeding her flower beds. She does the whole thing on her own, and it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But she's the one who's drugged me to East Ruston, to Sandringham, to Felbrigg, all of the old houses, all of those beautiful gardens, Fuller's Mill. She's always wanted to go and visit everywhere. Hyde Hall, anywhere we could physically get to see a garden, she wants to go. And even now she still did. We went to Eastern Walls Gardens last year, and that's absolutely where my passion comes from. And I think hers comes from her mother, because her mother really loved growing raspberries, and I can remember being small and eating raspberries out of a raspberry cage. So I think it's a family of female gardeners. I didn't love gardening until I was into my 30s. I moved in here and all there was a 6-inch strip around the outside of that front garden. The rest of it was grass everywhere. And it wasn't until I was in my 30s that I really started loving plants and loving gardening. But now I do.
So you're completely self-taught or mother-taught?
Mother-taught. Yeah, I've never taken a qualification in my life. I have no interest in doing it. It doesn't appeal to me. I love to garden because I love plants. I don't mind soil under my nails. I don't garden in gloves unless I'm dealing with brambles or nettles. I love planting seeds and watching things grow. I like putting a bulb in and something pops up. I like the surprise that gardening brings you. You put a plant in one place and suddenly it's not there. It's 7 foot away and you still can't figure out how the blooming thing moved.
I want it to grow over here.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's that, and it's seeing the seed. It really puts you back in touch with the seasons. You really know, especially growing cut flowers, because anybody who grows cut flowers, we've already planted next spring, and we're now coming into September. We'll start planting next summer, or late spring, early summer.
You've already planted for next. You've planted
all the biennials done. Yeah, all the biennials done. The Sweet Rockets in, the Sweet Williams. They're all sown.
Yeah,
most of them are going to be. Most of those are going to be. But that's your early season plants. It's all your biennials. Apart from cornflowers, which I'll sow in September, and cowcockle, everything else is already growing away and happy. And that's what keeps you going. And then, you come September, you're then sowing your hardy annuals for next year. Come February, you're then sowing the hot summer stuff. You're always thinking 3 to 5 months ahead, because you have to, because the beds have to rotate. They have to keep working. Yeah. That bed has just been stripped out of cornflowers, which have gone over, and Amy that's gone over, but I've now got Sweet Rocket ready to go in. So it's that constant seasonal rotation. Jamie's trying to show his back. Is that geese?
Geese going over, yeah. Fucking hell.
Jesus, are they going?
They're going south.
Going north?
They're going south.
They look
already. Early.
That's early. That's a bit worrying. That means autumn's definitely here.
Oh God, that's the second lot I've seen go over since I've been sitting here.
Oh, next thing you'll be seeing the swallows on the lines ready to go, and I haven't seen that happen yet. The swifts are still here at the moment.
We don't want autumn yet.
No, we don't. We want an extended summer.
Go and talk to his geese.
Turn around.
I'm cold now. Actually cold.
Yeah, starting to get chilly. I'm starting to think actually a cup of hot tea might be a good plan.
Yeah. It's August. It's the middle of August, and it's getting cold. There's 15 degrees on my watch. Do
Yeah,
I
but that's
live near
because
the
you were spoiled
marshes?
last
No, I
week. No, I
don't.
was
No.
having. Well, that's because you were being spoiled. Last week I was having 23 degrees and it was lovely in Cumbria, while you lot were all sweltering in 34.
Yeah. No, I don't live
That's
near
right,
the
Jenny.
marshes.
I've got leaves already coming off the apple trees. So I think that's right. I think you are I think it's the trees are starting to feel the difference.
I think a lot of it is dryness as well, because we've had such a dry patch. A lot of the colouring dryness as well.
I haven't had any significant rain here for probably 2 months.
Yeah.
Likewise.
But when you think that, I mean, I was fairly underwater under my back garden. Obviously, nothing like you were under, Mark. But I mean, I was fairly underwater here. Everything from the greenhouse down, I couldn't plant in until, well, I could plant in the pots, but I couldn't put anything in the ground until May.
No.
Because it was just too wet.
No.
And now we're all windy
really,
and
really
it's dry and it's windy.
Yep.
I think the wind's going to be the problem here at the moment because it's dry and windy, and that's the worst combination.
Just really dries the top layer out where all of the perennials are existing.
Yeah. I mean, I watered my dahlias heavily 2 days ago, and they already need doing again. And that's normally they'll go 3 to 4 days in those pots without batting an eyelid. But this dry wind is just not doing any good.
Terrible, isn't it?
No, we just can't keep up with it at work. It's literally like you'd have to water every day to keep it really top.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell the people who are watering significantly. I mean, I can't do that. My water bill would be horrific.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We lived in Ireland. Do you know what? I've never been to Ireland. I'm sure it's absolutely beautiful.
It's very green. You two are doing a me and fading into the darkness.
No, it's dark, isn't it? Look at us.
I can't do anything about that. Unfortunately, it is getting dark.
I can't do anything. No, it's terrible.
I feel quite like it.
It wasn't like it last week, was it? It's crazy.
I've got a little bit of. If I turn round, move to a different chair.
That's a third flush of geese going over. Oh.
There you go. That's a little bit better. Oh, don't start talking up geese going over. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, I agree, Jenny. Wind is definitely the worst type of weather, and we've been battered by it today on the beach.
Yeah, I think
really
you've been fairly effectively sandblasted, haven't you?
Yeah, we all got back and we're like, right, we're going in the shower, try and wash some of the sand off of ourselves.
It's when you find sand in places you didn't know you had places that the problem is, isn't it?
She said it's 6 weeks till it'll be dark at 6 o'clock. Stop it. We don't even want to think about that.
I could already hear crickets, so I know it's dark because the crickets only start once it gets dark.
There's absolutely bats everywhere now. Just
But my tawny owl hasn't started yet.
Terrible. Right, I think
time to stop.
Your lightning round, Mark, because I can't.
Yep.
Otherwise,
we can't
have to
see Jamie anymore. See, that's what happens in Nortfolk.
Right.
You're
I'm sure you
darker than I am.
Not any better, is it?
Oh, a little bit. I can see the top of your head now.
You can see your
That's
earbuds.
it for you.
So, lightning round. Let's go. Tea or coffee?
Tea in the afternoon, coffee in the morning.
Gin the rest of the time.
Wine after 6. Gin after 8.
Flowers or edibles?
Flowers.
Gotta be.
Gotta be.
Beach or forest?
Oh, now that's forest in the summer, beach in the winter. I love Norfolk beaches in the winter.
Oh yeah, you said that.
That's quite an interesting one. I think
Oh, Joe, your
beach.
security lights come on.
Yeah. Looking for hedgehogs.
What's your go-to emoji?
Smiley face.
Smiley face, nice one. If you could only have one snack for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Right at this minute, because they're at their best, Victoria plums.
Oh, lovely. If you could get one of them fresh off a tree every day,
Oh,
no
yeah.
matter what time.
Nice and
I am doing it at the moment. I just go down and visit mother.
soft
Yeah.
and juicy.
Dog or cats?
Dogs.
Gotta be dogs. Finish the sentence. My perfect day would be.
Sitting in the garden with a very good book and an even better bottle of Prosecco.
Oh, yay.
That's brilliant. Sowing seeds or potting on?
Pricking on. I actually like pricking out.
Oh, you can
Oh,
get an extra
we got
there now.
another category in there.
Category. I love pricking out. I find that very therapeutic.
It is therapeutic, actually, pricking out.
You can't. It's like I find the same thing when I make dried flower wreaths, because you're doing things that are very small. You can't think about anything else.
No, you've got focus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spring or summer?
Spring.
You don't like the sun. You don't like the heat.
If I could grow dahlias in spring, it'd be even better.
Yeah. And finally, today's favourite plant.
It's that Barley Blush dahlia.
Good choice.
Nice. Yeah, I like that one. Beautiful.
That's going to be on a few people's lists for next year.
It's a good doer. It grows nicely. It's a decent size. It's easy to use, and it's a good colour.
Do the slugs like it?
Hasn't been too much of a problem. But then when the dahlias are little, I go out slug hunting every night.
Yeah.
I haven't done it since they've got up to over 3 foot. Once they get over 3 foot, they're on their own. But while they're under 2 foot, I slug hunt every night. Because I have very high slug pressure here.
Never done it yet. Maybe too.
Yeah, if I didn't do it, I wouldn't have any dahlias, Joe. I've had 2 plants. If I told you that I've got a plant out there that actually I've just had to, I literally went to go and take the bag off the bud this morning, and as I touched it, the whole plant came away. The snail had eaten straight through the base of the stem.
Swine.
Whole 3.5 foot plant taken out of the base, and literally I've taken two side branches, pruned them back, shoved them back in the compost, and I'm hoping to God they're going to root.
You just wonder, just eat the leaves, and you'll be fine.
Exactly.
Stop
No, they didn't want to eat the leaves. They ate and the problem is, I have 8 dahlias out there that I don't know what they are, because I had all my dahlias were in the mushroom trays when they were tubers, and the dog knocked 2 of the trays off, and I had to literally call them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and that was number 7. I don't know so I still don't know what it was. I know it was an orange or a pink, but because it was just starting to colour, I don't know which one it was.
How annoying.
Yeah.
Wildlife.
We've got different colour skies, like Joe. Yours looks purple. Mine's a deep bluey colour.
Mine is purple. It's very pretty.
Yeah,
And Jamie, hang on, yours is green. Marc, yours is green.
Still kind of blue.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, Jamie's just sitting in the dark.
Look at that for a...
I love a blue with an orange.
That's a very pretty sky.
Yours is
I've got a
amazing.
dog.
Is there a disco going on or something with a purple lasers?
No, I've just got an archer who's wandering around the garden turning on the varying security lights.
Well, thanks ever so much, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
All right.
You've been saying no for so long, but no, thank you so much. It's been absolutely
Bye,
amazing.
boys.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye.
Speak soon.
There's about 30 minutes between the east and west coast for sunsets usually.
Oh, they are then. That's why.
So I'm on the west, you're on the east.
I'm as far east as possible, isn't I? Really?
Yeah. So I've still got a little bit of light.
Yeah. That's why it's pitch black here.
Because when it is dark here, it is properly dark. There's no light pollution whatsoever.
No.
When I woke up at 4:30 this morning with the storm, I looked outside and I couldn't see anything because you couldn't see the rain, you couldn't see anything. It was just dark.
It's nice. That is a good thing about here, really. We don't get any light pollution, as you know now. So you came a couple of weeks ago, but there's no street lamps in our village whatsoever.
Right. A good sky tonight with the stars.
But I went to look at that big old blue moon or whatever it was yesterday, and it was so cloudy, couldn't see it.
We've had clouds both days when it's supposed to be here because the moon was over in the distance, so we could see it from the cottage. Yeah, the 2 nights it's supposed to have been the supermoon, it's been behind clouds. Typically.
Not as far east as Amy, no. Maybe not. Not far off. Not be that far off. Right, Mark. Enjoy the rest of your holiday.
Thank you very much, and I'll see you back in Lincolnshire next week.
See you next week. Thanks ever so much, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Mark's got a bit of editing to do to put them together.
Join the two together. Hopefully the first one's saved in my rush to get it on and get back on.
Fingers crossed.
Otherwise we'll only have a podcast.
See you, Catherine.
Night,
See you, Amy.
Night,
Thanks
Amy.
for watching.
Bye.
See you later.
Thanks, Joe.
See you later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Through the Garden Gate.